physique fool you. He's a serious black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with power in his hands. Oh, my God! Dave Herman is a beast of a man.
Cain Velasquez, he will engage, he will bring the fight, and he wants his belt back.
Cain Velasquez is a scary, scary man. Complete, total domination.
Antonio Bigfoot Silva, he's been underestimated far too long.
Bigfoot, ground and pound.
Unbelievable!
Franka Mira, Juniora dos Santosa for the heavyweight championship. Here we go! Juniora dos Santosa with another knockout victory!
Heavyweights finish fights.
Bang! Tonight! What a performance by Franka Mira!
UFC 146 is the scariest and toughest heavyweight card UFC's ever put together.
UFC heavyweight champion Juniora dos Santosa puts his belt on the line against two-time former champ Franka Mira. Former heavyweight champ Cain Velasquez battles Antonio Bigfoot Silva for the next shot at the title. Bruising heavyweight Roy Nelson slugs it out with powerful knockout artist Dave Herman. Undefeated Muay Thai powerhouse Shane Del Rosario challenges fellow undefeated rising star Stipe Miočića. And former K1 World Grand Prix champion Mark Hunt takes on 6'11" submission expert Stefan Struve. The countdown to the first all-heavyweight main card in UFC history starts now. Last November, in the first UFC event ever held on network television, Juniora dos Santosa took aim at Cain Velasquez's heavyweight belt.
My title fight against Cain Velasquez was a big time for me.
The winner will truly be the baddest man on the planet.
You ready? Let's get it on!
Here we go!
In the fight, he accepted to fight stand-up with me and throw a lot of kicks.
Cain right away is working the legs of Juniora dos Santosa.
In 1 minute, he threw 7 kicks on my leg.
And again, he looks for the kick.
And then I throw a jab. When he answered with a jab too, I throw an overhand, very strong overhand.
Big shot!
It was a good punch.
He's hurt! He's trying to finish this fight! It is all over! Juniora dos Santosa is the new UFC heavyweight champion of the world!
That moment is the moment of my life. I can't explain what I felt in that moment, but was amazing.
You are the new UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Juniora dos Santosa, ladies and gentlemen.
After everything, I hugged my coach Doria. When I looked at him, he was crying. And so that made me cry too. Now I'm the champion of the world of UFC. Is completely different of my reality before. I'm living a special time in my life, and so it makes me hungrier. I want more. I want to keep my belt with me for a long, long time.
His dream has come true. Juniora dos Santosa is the new heavyweight champion of the world.
I'm gonna rain on that parade and steal the belt from him and take it home.
And now, 5 rounds for the interim UFC Heavyweight Championship.
In December of 2008, Franka Mira handed Minotauro Nogueira the first knockout of his storied career.
Oh, again. Oh, that's it.
Nogueira has been finished for the first time ever.
Unbelievable.
Franka Mira,
The new
Last December, he granted Nogueira a rematch.
they are set to fight again.
Knock came out very aggressively.
Oh, huge
Nice knee.
He just wanted to prove to the world that Frank got lucky that first time. So he wanted to put him away right away.
It demanded blood.
Good start for Big Nog. He connects again. Frank's in big trouble.
Huge trouble.
I got caught there. It stunned me.
It looked like he was out. He was certainly groggy.
I just kind of dove in on his legs, trying to secure a takedown.
He's throwing. Oh, he's got a guillotine.
As soon as I lifted up my head, in came the choke. That was a little bit of despair in my stomach. Except for he didn't cover my back, I was able to reverse it and keep him from mounting me.
Can Frank roll and get on top? Yes, he can. Wow. At least this gives him an opportunity to recover if Minotauro doesn't hit this switch.
And when I seen his hand on the ground, and I knew I had better hips than him, I just grab his hand and I connect.
Minotauro's gonna peek out and get his back.
I don't know what he was doing. To be honest, you guys had to interview him and see why he did it that way.
Minotauro's gonna peek out and get his back.
That's a way to take someone's back, because, well, that's what happens.
Oh, side control from Mir. Look at this. Kimura from Frank Mir. Oh, no, Garrison all sorts of trouble.
Now he decides to sit up, but his feet are off the mat. You guys see that? He has no strength. My feet are on the mat, and I'm driving my butt towards him.
Oh, no, Garrison all sorts of trouble.
That being said, Nogueira's still a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's been rolling for many, many years.
Nogueira actually managed to move to north-south and get on top of Frank. Frank was a little out of position, but Frank still had the Kimura, rolled him over, got back on top.
Oh, look at this. Unbelievable. Finish it.
I just kept it locked behind his back. I just increased the range of motion of his arm, hoping that he would tap. And if he doesn't tap, that's a decision he makes, and that's up to him.
He's got it. It is over. It is all over. Unbelievable.
Frank Mir has submitted Big Nog.
Unbelievable.
Frank did it again. He surprised the whole world by being the first guy not only to knock Nogueira out, but submit him.
Well, first of all, Frank, you were in all sorts of trouble before this even happened. You got caught with a big punch. How badly were you hurt?
No, I was stunned. He caught me. There's no denying that, I was hurt and, the fat lady was clearing her throat. But within a minute or two, went from the brink of defeat to, snapping his arm off.
Kimura from Frank Mir.
Can he get the submission?
Oh, no,
he
Garrison
might
all
have
sorts
it.
of trouble. Oh, look at this. Unbelievable.
Finish it.
He's got it.
I can't think of a better way to do a fight. That's a movie. A win with JDS, puts me down as a 3-time champion in the heavyweight division. I've thought about it, but then sometimes it feels so far still. There's still a real tough opponent ahead of me. He's the champ. I'm trying to go in there and take the title away from him. Juniora dos Santosa, he's been a wrecking force in the UFC since he's entered.
Juniora dos Santosa with another knockout victory.
But stylistically, this matchup is just a bad one for him.
It's about as classic a striker versus grappler matchup as you can get.
Granted, he's a little bit better at boxing than I am. That's fine. But how much better I am at jiu-jitsu than he is? I'm willing to bet that gap's a lot larger.
He's tough. He's a strong guy, but I got power on my hands. He's gonna feel that.
Teeing off. Oh, Junior's going flurry of big punches.
JDS's power is superb. I think that it comes a lot from his speed, which is kind of scary.
Vicious body shot.
My power, I think, is equally good as far as I've nailed people with shots and they've gone down. I mean, I hit Czech Congo and floored him. I finally landed a good shot with Mirko Krokop and floored him.
I think Franka Mira is gonna try to throw some kicks and keep the distance. And then he's gonna try to take me down and use his jiu-jitsu.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Submission victory for Frank Mira.
One thing he has going on right now is the fact that we've never seen him on the ground. That could mean that he's very good at it, but most likely that could mean that he's poor at it. He hasn't had that many minutes and times clocked in as far as under fire on the ground in a real fight.
Oh! Junior dos Santos with the takedown.
Who would have expected that?
I'm training jiu-jitsu a lot and I'm improving my techniques. I can submit someone too. If I have the chance to submit someone in a fight, I will do that.
He's rolled a few times, I'm sure, with Nogueira. That's his coach. I'm sure Nogueira's probably got the better of him most of those times. Now he has to sit there and face somebody he knows that submitted in a very kind of highlight reel fashion, his coach.
Oh, side control from Mir. Look at this. Kimura. He's got him behind it.
He broke the Big Nog arm. And Big Nog is a mentor for me, but I don't think he's gonna get even close of that with me. I will put my strategy on the fight, and it's gonna be my way to fight, not his way.
Oh, big time! And again with the uppercut!
I have a lot of confidence in the fact that I'll come out victorious against JDS. There's just a feeling in my chest I just can't get rid of that makes me feel that there's just nothing stopping me.
Now you'll see Frank Mir.
I will defeat Frank Mir.
Junior!
I believe in myself.
Dos Santos!
And I really believe I can knock him out.
Before the heavyweight title is decided, the man who last held the belt will begin the climb back to the top. Cain Velasquez was undefeated before his stunning loss to Junior dos Santos.
You know, I've worked much more than this, and I will come back, and I will get this belt back, for sure. Antonio Silva's a guy that I have to go through to get that back.
Bigfoot, ground and pound, trying to end this one early.
Bigfoot, a lot of people aren't that familiar with because he's been fighting in other organizations, but, you know, he's got a lot of high-profile wins.
It's a big dream to fight Fedor. When I see Fedor come to the cage, I say, no, it's not Fedor. Man, I want to fight him. No way.
Oh, and he got caught with that counter, did Fedor. My goodness, what a flurry.
When I see him in his eyes, he's a very comfortable stand up. I'm gonna put him in the ground.
Nice.
And now I'm gonna finish the fight.
Silva is absolutely manhandling, dominating Fedor Emelianenko.
Silva!
Okay, now my first dream, I got it. Now I'm gonna do my second dream, fight in UFC.
If I was a debuting fighter, I sure wouldn't want to do it against Cain.
He throws you to the body. Lesnar's in big trouble.
If you want to work your way up the ladder, you know, you don't fight me.
He's getting smashed here. It is all over. Cain Velasquez is the UFC heavyweight champion.
He's a tough guy. He's forward all the time. He has a very dangerous right hand.
Oh, look at that. Velasquez down. Velasquez will get finished. It is all over.
I think Antonio's most vulnerable. I would probably have to say footwork. I think he's not as fast on the feet as most heavyweights, and I think that's an area that can be exploited.
I dropped 20 pounds for this fight. I'm gonna do more faster.
Oh, another right hand. And those hammer fists, sledgehammer fists from Antonio Bigfoot Silva.
I have to work on being a lot quicker than him. Using those combinations, then getting out of there.
Velasquez pouring it on.
In my mind, I'm the best in strike and the best in jiu-jitsu. I'm gonna put her in the ground and use my jiu-jitsu.
And these aren't hammer fists, these are sledgehammer fists, and he's got his back!
If he gets on top, you know, he's a very, very large guy that's heavy, and he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so he's very hard to escape from.
Me being a wrestler and also being a lot quicker than him. Those two things would definitely put his jiu-jitsu out of the equation.
Just complete control, overwhelming on the ground.
My first fight in UFC, it's my dream. I have all the tools to be a champion one day.
I will get that belt back, but first of all, I have to beat Antonio Silva, and I will.
UFC 146 is the first all-heavyweight main card in the organization's history. Former Pride star and kickboxing world champion Mark Hunt takes on Stefan Struve, the tallest fighter in the UFC. Two undefeated rising stars, Shane Del Rosario, 11-0 with 8 knockouts, tries to take out Stipe Miočića, 8-0 with 6 knockouts. Then Dave Herman, with 15 knockouts amongst his 21 career wins, challenges Ultimate Fighter winner Roy Nelson.
The Lohan School of Shaolin, I got involved, actually started in my Sifu's garage. I think I was 15 and a half, 16.
Roy came by and with two twin brothers, and they asked, what do you do? And I said, Kung Fu. And he says, you know, we want to train. Would you train us?
Kung Fu it's the root for, I'd say, 95% of all martial arts. I practice it every day.
You're actually practicing something that goes back thousands of years. The sticky hands. The sticky hands teach you to get inside and not to be afraid. Use your leg work a little more, Lloyd. Circle around, circle around, circle around.
Basically, you're just working on body positioning and body movement where you're actually feeling their energy and just trying to manipulate that to your advantage.
You're trying to build that sixth sense. Bruce Lee that was like his favorite thing to do. The staff, that's to build eye timing, to see things coming at a different angle.
Working on the wooden dummy, you can work on some striking, and you can also work different grappling of like grabbing the leg or pushing the hips away.
Relax your muscles. Relax your mind.
Meditation can help make you more mentally strong, especially during a fight.
See yourself as a warrior that you are. Your body's strong, but your heart and your mind are calm.
It slows everything down so you can control the chaos.
At UFC 146, the chaos will be represented by 6'4", 240-pound Dave Herman.
He has heavy hands and he has really big hands. So if he gets his hands on you, it's definitely lights out.
Stands him up with another knee.
A college wrestler, Herman won his first 15 pro fights, 14 in the first round.
In my UFC debut, I fought John Olov Ainimo.
Let's fight! And here we go.
I never felt like I was in trouble in the fight.
Nice leg kick by Herman. Nice knee.
Oh! Knee from Herman again! Again! Ainimo's in trouble! He's hurt!
Dave Pee-wee Herman.
I don't think he's even come close to what his potential is yet. Dave's got a ton of raw power, and that's what it is. It's just raw power right now, and he's slowly starting to focus on it.
My striking, for sure, has always been the least technical of everything I do, and I've really been focusing on it, and I feel a lot better about it.
Recently, Herman added an unorthodox training method.
I play trampoline cage ball. It's kind of a cross between volleyball, basketball, inside a cage on a trampoline. Really just blows your lungs out. For the first time I played, I was so tired, in like a minute I couldn't move. Hey. Oh, man. Kind of trick yourself into getting into shape. I feel terrible.
I think Dave, to beat Roy Nelson, needs to use his length, pick him apart, use his legs and his knees, and hurt Roy Nelson when he comes in for strikes.
Wow! And now in a feeding frenzy of knee strikes, Shaw is down on the ground.
Dave needs to put him on his back occasionally, too.
And now Herman teeing up the big hurt.
I've been working my takedowns, and if it's not going well for me on my feet, you know, if I have to take him down, that's what I'll do.
I've been on my back in a couple fights, but my jiu-jitsu has definitely helped me win fights or get back to my feet.
He's trying to get his back.
Yeah, 2 Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belts.
He lost position.
Nelson right back up.
I'm just looking for the Dragon Warrior in myself, you know, just trying to go out there and just be better at every aspect.
Boy, Big Country Nelson is no joke, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the biggest fight of my career so far.
That was absolutely textbook.
Herman continues his rise as a heavyweight.
I will defeat Roy Nelson.